All right. So, on today's session, we went through some welcome and introductions. Today, we're going to actually, I do want to, first of all, talk about how to use the Choose Life Planner so that you are able to get the most out of it, because it's not just a food diary. This is when it comes to this lifestyle change that everyone says that we need to make, and it isn't just, oh, you got to make a lifestyle change and just change the way you eat. Once you start changing the way you eat, there's that affects a lot of other areas of your life as well. And so I want to, again, the purpose of this session is so that you can get the most out of the planner as you are making these different changes in your life. So we are today, how do we use the Choose Life Planner? That is what we're going to talk about. So, if you have it opened, that's why, and I do encourage you to have the planner with you for every session. So, and I'll explain to you why as we go through this. The the first part of where we start, where we want to go with is this page. It says where we start. And so go ahead and put, if you haven't already put a date in, go ahead and put a date in. I have some key, markers here, be it blood pressure, cholesterol, A1C, or whatever, or some of you it's weight. The point here is to get some current numbers in and measurements if you desire. So whatever it is you want to have as your markers that you're trying to pay attention to, then go ahead and jot that in those particular areas. It's good to have that starting point so that you can see, so that you can see progress. Because there'll come a time and it's like, man, what good is this? What good is this? And you want to be able to go back and see, wait a minute, this is where I started at. And so having those current numbers is there. And then also where it says desired results, go ahead and jot down what that desired result is. If it's a certain weight that you want to be, a certain clothes size you want to be, um, if it's, Eugenia, I'm not certain what markers that you may be trying to take, or what it is that you're trying to measure, and maybe your desired, the desired results may be something like, I want to just, I mean, sometimes for me, sometimes my desired result may be, I just want to follow my plan for the next 90 days and not really pay
Hmm.
attention to the weight. And
Right.
so that
Hmm.
that sometimes can be what that desired result looks like. So so whatever that is, definitely write out for you what this information is, where you're starting, and where you're hoping to be. um, we'll even say the next 90 days. This is a 12-week
Okay.
planner, and that's what we'll be going through over the next 12 weeks. Now, the next couple of pages are of the specific areas of choosing life, the specific areas of where we choose life. Because it's not just the meals, because we're talking about choosing life so that we can have a full life overall. So the first area in choosing life is in the area of meditation. And this is where we're intentionally inviting God in this journey. And so what we're doing in these first couple of pages is this is what choose life and meditation. This is what I'll be doing for the next 90 days. So, what is your meditation plan for the next 90 days? And we put it out there and have a plan for the next 90 days so that, we're not, I talked in the master class about decision fatigue. And so this isn't so, all right, now I got to think of something every week, or I got to think of something every month. Let's make the decision now, or the next 90 days, this is what I'm going to be doing for meditation. And basically what this looks like is, are you going to be doing a particular devotional? Is there a particular Bible reading guide you want to do? Is there a particular podcast you want to consistently listen to that that will allow you to meditate on something that's inspiring for you and for your spirit. So make a decision now what you're going to be focusing on or what you're going to be choosing to meditate on over the next 90 days. Let's make that decision now and call it a wrap. We call it a wrap. All right. So that's what we do there. I'm going to talk about the daily reflection part a little later, but that's what we're doing there. And then we do the same thing for our movement. What am I going to be doing movement wise for the next 90 days? And this isn't, these are just some examples of some of the movements you can be doing. This isn't, if you're not into, this isn't a push for everybody to do cardio or everybody to, do things, do some intense weight training, whatever. What is your plan? This is personal. This is what your plan. This is what you would like to be doing. Um, for me, actually, right now, I'm want to try this Tai Chi. I want to try Tai Chi. And so I have that down here that for the next 90 days. And Tai Chi is like 10, 15 minutes a day. I want to try that. And so that's something that I have down here in for my movement for the next 90 days, just to because I'm, encouraged to sometimes switch it up, change up, what I'm doing. So I'm just trying it out. It's just something I want to try just to see. But having some kind of movement, again, the point is to have something clear on what you'll be doing and keep, if you're going from zero, keep it simple. Just keep it simple. Could just a chair, 10 minutes of a chair exercise, or, I also like dancing. And I want to try when the weather cools off a little bit in Florida. I'm also going to pick up pickleball. So it could be a sport or
Hmm.
whatever that you may try, that you may decide you want to try. Just pick something and just make the decision now what it'll be, and let's keep moving with it. And then we have the choosing life in our meals. And yes, this isn't, within Choose Life, we're not talking about a specific plan per se. The point is to find a plan, get a plan. And we're not going to be bouncing from plan to plan every week or,
Yeah.
every 2, 3. Yeah, I think I'm a. Oh, I heard so and so lost a lot of weight. Don't know. We're gonna let's pick one and let's stick to it. I think in a text message, because someone had sent a message. Well, it's actually there's some people who signed up and purchased a planner. I see them. I know them personally, so I see them. So one person who I happened to see, she was like, well, Sheila, I don't know what to do. I don't know what I should be doing. So I put together some examples, and I think I sent it out in a text, and it's actually on the website. I'll look and see what it is if you want to see it again, if you want to look at it again. But again, they're just examples. Everyone, you pick what you want to stick with, and let's give it a chance. Let's give one thing a chance for 90 days. It's just, you know, or 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 at least a minimum of 6 weeks. Now, after 6 weeks, if you see it's not having the results that you want, then we can consider, and I strongly recommend that you come in the Q&A session and we talk about it. And, then you can consider changing, because I know, sometimes I know right now, if you past a certain age, things don't work like it used to. Then numbers don't fall off like they used to, and so you may have to make some adjustments to it. But again, give it some time before you make adjustments. So I'm saying as a minimum of 6 weeks, and then let's have a conversation before you switch. But the changing the meal plan every week or every, God forbid, every couple of days, that's a cycle we just want to break. So let's pick one and keep moving. The next one is, this sheet here is actually similar to what I have on the page, on the what I sent out in an email. These are just some samples of what plans look like, or things that you can count, calories, points, macros, or something like that. And again, if I'm not mistaken, I did include it in there. I do want to emphasize this. If you are on like an intermittent fasting or plant-based or vegan kind of, plant-based and vegan is the same thing. I'm sorry. Vegetarian, I should have said, or gluten-free kind of plan, say it's still necessary that you have clarity for your meals, especially as far as portion sizes, especially if your goal is to lose weight. It is really important that you have a level of clarity for the meals if you're trying to lose weight. I got a little bit of echo going on, but I think we're good. Um, so um That is so, yeah. So pick a plan that you know you'll stick to. For those that just joined us, I am going through how to use the planner. That's what we're doing right now. How do we use this planner? So the next page that we're on is where we choose life in our mission. And in choosing life in our mission, you know, I have this quote. I love this quote. I can't remember when I heard it, probably about 20 years ago. Everything God created, He created to solve a problem. Everything. Pencils were created to solve a problem. A cup was created to solve a problem. You and I were created to solve a problem. And the problem were created for, the earth is crying for it. And the solution is inside of you. And so this page is designed for you to give some thought to that. Give some thought to what problem did God create me to solve. And so I would say over these next 90 days, definitely give some intentional thought to those questions about, what problem did He create you to solve? What people did He create you to serve? And what are some intentional efforts that you can take in solving those? So these first 4 pages are the pages that help us really get clarity on what it is we're going to be doing as we choose life. What we're going to be doing with our movement. What are we doing in the level of meditation, in our movement, in our meals, and with our mission? This is where I'm going to focus on over the next 90 days. All right, so we start there. Kind of like it's kind of like, let me start with the end in mind. That's what we're doing first, starting with the end in mind. All right. Now, the next thing we have to do is we really do have to plan. We do set aside time to plan. We set aside time for a weekly plan. And I would say initially, you treat it like an appointment, like you have a doctor's appointment or whatever. Look at your schedule and decide when you go do it. Give yourself initially at least 30 minutes because this is something new. It's a new muscle that you're using. So it may take some time to do. I like you getting your exercise in, Kathleen. That's cute.
Yeah.
um, so yeah, get treat it like an appointment. Get the and pin it in. Think of it. I don't know how to put it any other way. Think of it as a doctor's appointment. And so this is an
Mhm.
appointment that you'll have every week. And as you get used to it, it won't take as much time, but initially give yourself 30 minutes to give it some thought. So this is why it's taken 30 minutes. We're looking at all of this. We're looking at, again, and I can go back to where I start with the end in mind. What am I going to be doing for my devotional and Bible reading this week? Let me jot that down so I don't have to. Trying to minimize decision fatigue. That is what we're doing here. So let's do that. Let me look at my movement and appointments. When am I going to be doing the exercise? When do I have doctor's appointments or school appointments? If I'm doing exercise, if I'm on some kind of exercise routine that requires me doing, you know, weights 3 times a week, what day will those 3 times a week be, etc. Or if I'm doing 5 days with 2 days of rest, what days will be my 2 days of rest? Writing these things down along with other appointments as well. And then there's section here, of course, to write down the meals. What am I having for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? And your appointments, showing what your appointments are, also kind of helps you decide on what the meals are as well. Um, and then once you decide the meals, then of course you have the grocery list. So here's what some of this can look like once you finish it. Once it's all finished. Yeah, once everything is down here. So I have here that, I have this, faith daily journal that I'm going to be going through in the morning. That's my devotional Bible reading and planning. Here's the movement and other appointments I have. So I have all of those things down. Something that you also see that I have in here, and that is, let me turn this pointer on to give attention to it. That is the grocery shopping. You put grocery shopping in as an appointment. It's really important to do that. Decide what day you are going to be doing grocery shopping. And as you are as you've written down all of your meals, you make your grocery list to coincide with what you did. But pay attention to when you say you're going to grocery shop and make sure you have already in your house what you're going to be eating, especially prior to grocery shopping. So if you're grocery shopping on Thursday and this is everything you're buying, do you already have beans or carrots or chicken, salmon, apple? Is that already in your house? So pay attention, put grocery shopping. It's really important that you include grocery shopping in as an appointment. And then plan your meals based on what you actually have in your home. That stops you from, oh man, I ain't got nothing to eat at home. Let me stop. Let me stop and pick up. Let me stop and pick up. Or even it helps you not go grocery shopping when you're hungry. If you know that you're going grocery shopping on Thursday, then what I'm eating for breakfast and lunch, let me make sure I'm not in that grocery store when I'm home, because we spend more money and we buy stuff, that whatever. The other thing that we also want to make it a point that we schedule an appointment for is meal prep. Schedule that, put that in as an appointment if that's what you plan on doing. And what there's different ways of doing meal prep, and we'll go into that in detail during another session. But depending on what your meal prep looks like, depends on how much time you need. There was a point in time because of how I did my meal prep. I had to set aside a good 4 hours on a Saturday to meal prep. But if you only call yourself doing 30 minutes, meal prepping generally takes longer than 30 minutes. So it is important that you do put it in here as an appointment, right? And then you have your meals. You will be eating you're going to eat every day. So take some time. This is why it takes 30 minutes initially to plan all of this out. Okay, wait a minute. What am I going to eat for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and a snack if you have a snack? And, after a while, just and it varies per person. It varies per how you do life. I tend to eat pretty much about the same thing. I tweak it a little bit, but I'm not one to cook. I don't enjoy being in the kitchen cooking, so I'm not one to cook every day. But for some people who love that, that's what they do, and that's cool. Again, it's geared toward your lifestyle in your life. And let me turn my pointer off now. Hold on. All right. Yeah, it's not off. Anyway. I turn this off because I'm trying to get my mouse back. There it is. So now that you have your week plan, then we go into the daily planning. And I know, it's like your meals and the movement, 80% of the time, what you plan for the week will probably transfer to the day. There are times when stuff will happen during the week that will change that. But generally, about 80% of the time, what you've planned for the week will transfer to what you plan for the day. And so what happens is some people will go, "Oh, well, I don't really need the daily part because I already did the weekly." Here's the thing. With the daily, the main part for the daily plan is the other areas. So let's talk about the first one, the meditation. The meditation on a daily, you're let's be clear. We still jot down the meals and the movement for the day. But with the meditation, you're jotting down, okay, what did I read today that stuck with me that I can just kind of keep meditating on throughout the day. By taking the time to write it down, it like reinforces what you've read, felt, that be it a scripture or a quote or something that you read or you heard that just like stuck with you. Writing it down reemphasizes it. The other part of it that I have in the meditation part is these daily reflections. What am I grateful for? What I do good? What could I've done better? And where do I see God? And these questions, when you pause to answer these questions, these tend to um, guard us over the emotional eating that we tend to do. So if I'm taking the time and I kind of, for lack of a better choice of words, flush this out. If I'm taking the time to let me think about things that I'm grateful for, because when I start thinking about things I'm grateful for, it'll offset, disappointments, and it forces the complaining noise to calm down. What did I do good? It offsets the, oh man, you didn't do this, you didn't do this, you didn't do this. And when we're feeling discouraged just about other things, not just the food, about other things throughout the day, that I didn't feel like I didn't take care of this, I didn't take care of that, I didn't take care of this. Oh man, I should have said this different thing. Out of all of that, what did I do good though? What did I do good? And there is a time about, okay, what could I've done better? Because we could do some things better. There's some things I could have done better. And then I ended, well, where do I see God in all of this? And just a little note of, and God help me in this, help me to handle this situation a little better. And this allows us to really, because again, these kind of things is what we end up doing emotional eating about throughout the day. So we
Mm.
take the time on a daily basis to address this stuff so it can calm that other impromptu throughout the day. The other thing that we do daily is we look at this: what is the most important thing I need to do today to choose life? This is the most important thing. This calms us because, we talked about in the master class about how the busyness of our day is what, that is another thing that makes it hard to stay consistent. Well, if I zero in on what is the most important thing I need to do today, what's the most, and everything else that I'm doing today has to coincide with this. So all of the other, oh, can you do this for me? Oh, can you do this for me? Oh, can you? All this other stuff that we're being pulled at, by just writing this down. Sometimes just writing this down helps quiet down all of those other demands. And these other demands is what makes it hard. It makes it hard to choose life sometimes. So that's that is another reason that why we do the daily plan. And then the other part of the daily plan is there's a is sometimes called time block. It is called time block. But what we're doing in this times area is definitely at least two things. Number one, jot down the time you plan on eating. Think about what you got going on for the day. Okay, I'm gonna eat, have my breakfast at this. I'm gonna have my at 7. I'm gonna have my lunch around 12:30, and I'll eat dinner around 6:30. And you jot those times down. And as you see those times, you're making sure that you're not doing something else so that you're not setting yourself up for failure. And if you need to adjust the time, then you know to adjust the time. The other thing that you're going to do in these time blocks is you make sure what you wrote in the most important thing to do, what you wrote in most important thing to do, now you put down a time of when you're going to do it. So whatever that most important thing, you put down that time. What does this have to do with me eating consistently? Again, this is the stuff that it affects us emotionally. It drains on our schedule and it pulls on our schedule. I'm busy doing all this stuff. I feel bad because I still didn't get this done. Well, it was important. So I gave it a time and I made an appointment to make sure I got it done. So I'm it's offering a tool to be able to lighten that to the weight. I'm like feeling the emotion of what I feel. I feel like I'm trying to process the emotion of what I'm feeling when I'm going through this. But it lightens it, and man, it's a sense of accomplishment. It's a sense of accomplishment. So I'm not going into the day with regret. So I've set aside time to do that. It's like I said, these three areas are really these are the important parts of the daily plan. The meals and the movement, we've covered that in the weekly, and 80% of this is going to get transferred from the weekly into the daily. You may have a couple of things that will switch up. My mouse is not. When I'm going from the pointer to getting back to my mouse, it's not always, oh, come on. Give me a second. It's not letting me do this. There. Oh, all right.
There
It
we
is.
go.
There we go. Did it? Oh, previous. There we is. So here we go. This is kind of what a daily plan would look like filled out. And even now, sometimes now my actual planner, when I write it out, this a lot of this is sometimes it's a whole lot, sometimes it's a little bit, depending. But again, it's a way to process the meditation part. Your meals are counted that over. I do, I put in the portion sizes. I have a scale, a kitchen scale, and weigh things for portion sizes, having the plan for the movement for the day. And then, it's not so much like I use this to fill the whole day up. Sometimes I do, but my main thing is when am I eating my meals and when do I get these most important things done? That listen to the mentors podcast. How many times is somebody we went, oh man, I want to listen to them. Oh man, I want to listen to them. Oh man, I want to listen to them. Well, now I sit there, okay, when will I actually listen? I'll listen here. There we go. So I'm not I'm not going through the day, with regret. And a lot of times this mentor listen to their podcast, the people, different people's podcasts I like to listen to, is helping me toward my mission. What
Hmm.
that which I'm trying to do for my mission. Oh, I want to gain more information about something. So now after you do it every day, then we also take time to reflect on how did the week go? How did the week go? What were some victories? What were some challenges? And what are some lessons that we learned from when we learn lessons from the victories and we learn lessons from the challenges? So take the time also to let me reflect on the week. And I put this scripture here, don't be afraid or even discouraged. God is personally guiding you. He will personally go ahead of you. He will be with you. He will neither fail you nor abandon you. Don't be afraid or discouraged about challenge. Definitely don't be afraid or discouraged specifically about the challenges that you may have. There, over these 15 years, have every day been I've been on it every day? No, no, there have been times that there have been some days, I wonder if I can. I wonder. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try. Let me. You know what? I'm really kind of tired. Have there been days when I was tired and didn't want to weigh my food that day? Yup. And then end up eating more than what I planned on. Yup. And it's just, what are some challenges? Okay, what did I learn from that? What did I learn from that? What was going on that day? And a lot of times most of the times most of the times it is from some kind of emotional something going on that I need to sit back and go, okay, wait a minute, I need to better prepare myself in this situation or whatever. But just spending that time to reflect allows us to course correct. But we don't just abandon and go, forget it. We just, all right, let me learn from this and keep going. Let me learn from this and keep going. And as as I keep going, those times that, you know, they don't have they I'm continuing to go because I'm learning from what I'm doing. I'm continuing to go. I'm not throwing in the towel. I'm continuing on. And that's what we do here. And that's the purpose of that. Purpose of reviewing the week. And definitely reviewing the victories. This went well. Why did this go well? Oh, because in this situation, one of the main things, I paused and paused before I just recklessly made a decision. I'm thinking about and then it's like on a Saturday, I thought I was going to be home by 12:30 to eat my lunch, but I was still running errands. And instead of just grabbing something, I paused and thought about it. That's a victory and a lesson that I can learn that if I get in that situation again, I can repeat it. So you pause and you look for lessons in both your victories and in your challenges. And then every other week we have our focus group. And so throughout the week, I have here, as you are reviewing, go ahead and jot down some questions that you may need to ask during the session. And that's why we have the Q&A part from 7 to 7:30. So if you have questions, you can go ahead and put them in. You have them right there. You don't go, oh man, I forgot. You can do that as you're reflecting on your week. You can go ahead and have a question, and then during the session, you can definitely take notes um, for that. All right, there we go. Yes. All right. So to let you know what our agenda will look like moving forward. Like I had mentioned, at the end of the week, as you do your own review of how things went for the week, feel free to jot down some questions because from the 7 to 7:30, I'll have the line open and I'll be here from 7 to 7:30. So if you have any questions, that will be the time to come on and um, yeah, and to answer those, you can either come and just listen in on to hear what other people's questions are, if you can come on with your own. So that will be there. So that's what Q&A is. The group, we will start at 7:30. We'll go ahead and get it started at 7:30. When we start, we'll start it off with whatever open prayer and welcome. I will then do like a 10 to 15 minute, unlike the master class where I did all that talking for like 50 minutes. I will not, this will be the most talking I will do actually tonight. Um, but I will, there's, whatever uh, particular lesson that we may have. I call it just our a choose life lesson. Sometimes it may be geared on a question a question or comment or whatever, or it may be I may go into a little bit more. That actually will be the next couple of choose life sessions. I am going to go into some of the other areas of the planner. Um, like either the meal planning and the Food Diary 2.0. I'll go into a little bit more detail of those in the Choose Life lesson. But I just really want to get into the daily and weekly part of the planning today. So that'll be though those will be happening, and then we'll have like 30 to 40 minutes of group shares. And in the group shares, everybody will individually share a victory challenge and your lessons learned over the past 2 weeks. And they may be timed shares based on the number of people present. Because if we have 30 to 40 minutes, I'll get look and see based on how many people are on. Um, I had probably, yeah, I did have at least about 12, 10 to 12 people registered to participate in this particular group, and more will probably be coming on because I'm still having people contact me about it. So, depending on how many people are available, how many people are on the call, that'll determine how many, shares will or what time the time shares. And then we'll have final comments in the announcements and closing prayer. And like I said, I do want to make sure we end at 8:30. And my watch I'm looking at, yep, 7 minutes. So that's the agenda that we'll be following for the as we continue to move on. Our next group will be in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from today, and I knew that date before. I had it at the top of my head all the while, and now I forgot it. The 22nd. June 22nd will be our next group. This isn't a closed group. It will be, people will be when I mean closed in that whoever starts in whoever's in now can't there it isn't set up that there won't be new people coming in. So there will be new people coming in throughout, but that's why I recorded the first session so that they can get that recording as they come in new. So periodically I do like to have individuals listen to or either participate or come on um, in the master class so you get an idea of what it is we're doing and why. Um, so if you know of anyone, then please let me know. I am in process of scheduling another master class because I have another about a good 5 or 6 people who've come and inquired about it. So I'm trying to assess what day is good for them. It seems like the Mondays that I had it before and the Thursday I had it before wasn't good. So I'm working on that. So if you know of other people who want to participate, let me know. And we'll, I'll let you know when the next one is scheduled. I hope to have another master class scheduled by the end of this week, um, which means I'll probably be doing it within the next 2 to 3 weeks or so. So, yeah, that those would be my announcements. So I'm going to open it up for any other final comments anyone may have, and then I'm going to ask a volunteer to close us in prayer. But